What's up, friends? Welcome to my channel where we're doing music covers, original music, album reviews, song reviews, a little social commentary here and there, whatever the day calls for. If you like what you see here, please subscribe to the channel. If you have content here, I'll subscribe to you as well. I'm all about supporting up-and-comers on here. Today we are diving into the third chapter of the Forgotten Album series, which is a series I started doing to highlight bands or albums that are no longer around or that have been overlooked, and just basically a very detailed introspective review on albums that never got the credit they deserved, and maybe they did at one time and they are just kind of out of the public eye now because the band isn't around anymore, or maybe the sound is a little dated, wherever it may be. And I've done two already, and now we're diving into number three. The album that we're doing today is one that makes me so glad that I started to do this series. It's got me to dust off some great forgotten albums. I also do requests for these, and I've only got one so far, and the one that I got introduced me to some good music I didn't know about. This one here is a little bit of a stretch to necessarily call it a forgotten album, because even though this is another group that has called it quits, their frontman is still very active in the music scene in the form of his current project, Fever 333. So people may still be discovering this project here through that band. And that project that I'm speaking of is the Los Angeles rock band Letlive. Years ago, a local band that I would share the stage with from time to time was very often singing the praises of this group, which is how I became aware of them. These guys, in their time as a band, have released 4 albums. Letlive were active from 2002 to 2017. Their first album, Speak Like You Talk, I have not heard that one. Their second album, and possibly their highest regarded album amongst their fans, Fake History, I listened to that album one time through, and at that time I kind of wrote them off because they seemed to kind of wear 2 of their influences, Glassjaw and The Used, a little too on the sleeve, almost to the point of plagiarism. And I guess at the time I didn't really get what they were going for, but it was clear that they definitely had something to say. And I'm going to listen to that album again at some point, so don't take this as me hating on that album. I'm going to give it another chance. That was just my analysis after one listen. And their fourth and final album, If I'm the Devil, didn't do anything for me. I found it very boring. It is album number 3, the one we're about to review here, 2013's The Blackest, Beautiful, where I really feel like this band hit their stride and made something truly, truly remarkable. The opener and lead single from this album, Banshee, definitely caught my attention. In the year 2013, when it came to post-hardcore and metalcore, I was desperate for something different. I clicked this video when it came out, Banshee, wondering if these guys had come into their own yet, or if they were just going to end up being a product of their influences. And what I found was a great song, an awesome video, and just so much energy from this frontman. At the end of the video, he actually falls over and then stands on his head for a second and then falls over sideways or some shit. It was just like, this dude is nuts, man. And then like I saw some live stuff, like, dude's nuts, man. This is not a half-assing it band. This guy puts his blood, sweat, and tears literally into his craft. This is not a perfect album. It does have some flaws in it, but it's definitely one that I would go back to for many years to come. I'm so glad I dusted it off and started listening to it again. Upon listening to it to make this review, I've been listening to it the last couple weeks because I knew I was going to be doing this one at some point, so I'm fully back into it. It's so good. So the star of the show here is definitely their frontman, Jason Allen Butler. This guy has multiple screaming ranges, a singing voice that goes from pop to punk to soul to everything in between. This dude is an absolute nut on stage, always freaking out, sometimes even stripping down to his underwear like he's G.G. Allen or some shit. This is no ordinary band. This band definitely did not represent where this genre was in 2013. I mean, this was just something more natural and organic and real. And I was all in. And you could tell they had maybe a little bit more to say than your average band in this genre at the time. So this was a serious breath of fresh air for me. One thing you'll hear a lot from people who do talk about this album is confusion over its production. And it is definitely merited. This is one of the only albums I can say is extremely overproduced and underproduced at the same time, if that makes any sense. The guitars are very muddy. They're not in the forefront of the mix really ever. And the drums have an odd sound to them as well. But at the same time, the vocals are super layered. Thick slabs of pitch correction all through it. So many overdubs. And moments where Jason is doing 3 or 4 different things all at once in the studio. And there are many times where there are like Latin percussion or tambourine or some kind of clicky sound in addition to the drumming to add to like to the catchiness. It's really, really muddy yet polished at the same time. I don't know how the hell they pulled that off. It really is an enigma. And if anyone knows of any videos or interviews they've done where they do reveal what their production goals were for this album, I'd love to see them. Although we have a quality album here, I do have to say, I still like the first track, Banshee, the best. This album opens up with one of the best screams I've ever heard, and just an amazing, noisy burst of energy in general. It's so good. Let's hear it.
We're here to fulfill every one of your dreams. A small nominal fee, it only costs you your soul. Yeah!
Every second of this song is just greatness. Jason showcases rapping in the verses, an amazing screamed and sung hook in the chorus. During the verses, you hear that extra percussion I was talking about. And then you get a surprise shift in the bridge to something softer that's also amazing. And then some group vocals in another amazing section. And then the hook again. Those 3 parts together just make this song. So let's hear them.
We throw the herbs into the ground and took the women. A leap of faith, a foot on the ground away from you. When they say go, I will say no. When they say go, I will say no. Well, yeah, swallow pride. Do you feel sick? My stomach hates the bitter taste of the truth. Well, I swallow pride. Do I feel sick? Well, maybe it tastes better when you swallow the truth.
It's just so fucking good, man. Let's move on. Number 2, Empty Elvis. This is definitely not a heavy metal record. This is not a metalcore record. It's not a punk rock record either. But I would say this is the song that goes for the fast and heavy the most. The guitars and the verses have a little bit of that Every Time I Die feel to it. There's a lot of scream sections here. The main hook is cleaner and very catchy, but still has a very chaotic and frantic feel to it. It's a very frantic track. It gets calmer in the bridge, but gets back into a frantic feel after that. This song is just here to be fast and frantic, and the results could not be better. Number 3, White America's Beautiful Black Market. This is an amazing song here. Even if it was dull musically, which it's not, the lyrics here would make up for it. This song goes after problems in our system that the powers that be want you to be distracted from. How fucking stupid the conservative pull up yourself by your bootstraps mentality is in a rigged economy, the corporate welfare workforce and stagnant wages, how terrible the American healthcare system is and how it's designed to profit from your illness and keep you sick. The lyrics in this song are incredible. My favorite line is, with the government sucking the dicks of corporations, looks like Uncle Sam finally put his money where his mouth is. I mean, there was nobody in this scene in 2013 talking about this stuff. This song points out the truth that the real handouts being given in this country are given to the rich and powerful in the form of bailouts, price gouging citizens for health care, and underpaid labor. America was never truly capitalist. The famous Martin Luther King Jr. quote about America's rugged capitalism for the poor and socialism for the rich is what this song is all about. Another great lyric here is, be sure that they will never cure you. You're worth so much more disease.
Be sure that they will never cure you. You're worth so much more disease.
Number 4, Dreamer's Disease. On this track, I feel like they really went overkill with having Jason doing a million things at once. So many weird overproduction choices on his vocals during the chorus. That doesn't mean there aren't some great parts in this song that aren't worth hearing, but this song is kind of middle of the road, and it probably has the worst end result of this album's production choices. So for the sake of not making this video too long, even though it probably is going to be, I'm just going to recommend that you listen to this one for yourself and make your own analysis of it. Number 5, That Fear Fever. Next to Banshee, this is my second favorite song. The drummer really stands out on this one. Listen to this shit. It's fast and frantic like Empty Elvis, but a bit better, I think. It boasts one of the album's best choruses, amazing pre-chorus too. The lyrics are good too. When you terrorize and profit, they will consider it a revolution. That is a very thin line, I'll walk it. A system anarchy might understand. Let's listen to that section.
They will consider it a revolution. That is a very thin line. I'll walk it. System anarchy might understand.
Incredible. Love everything about this one. Number 6, Virgin Dirt. We're clearly slowing down here. The next 2 tracks actually are going to be a bit of a break from the chaos, and this is a very well thought out piece of music with lyrics focusing on a hollow relationship based on sex and nothing else. That's what I got from it anyway. There's a guitar part in the middle of this song, and I don't know if this was intentional or not, but it's almost identical to the song Window Pane from Opeth. Listen to the intro in that song, and then this, and tell me if I'm just tripping. Number 7, Younger. This is the accessible, straightforward pop formula song of the album. It is really good with one of the album's catchiest hooks. It's got thought-provoking lyrics, and Jason doing a stellar job flexing what he is capable of throughout. Great song. Number 8, The Dope Beat. This is my 3rd favorite song on the album. The guitars are at their all-time simplest here and do nothing special whatsoever, but it somehow works for the song. It is 100% carried by Jason, this one. At this point, you realize how masterful this band is with making quality scream to sing chorus hooks.
We are the one, the lovely best inside. A roll, that's it. A roll, I want it right. But then I burn down my own hole. We are the one, the lovely best inside. And in the end, what's more is said and done. Put down my house now. I got nowhere to go.
Number 9, The Priest and Used Cars. This is a song a lot of fans like, but it's the first one on this album that I'm not wild about. I definitely consider it the weakest song. It has a very annoying and repetitive bridge. I don't have much to say about this one. Number 10, Pheromone Cult. I mentioned earlier that the Letlive album before this one, Fake History, wore its love of Glassjaw and they used a little too on the sleeve. This album is very much its own thing, and they shed that and became their own beast on this one. This song, however, Jason does dole out his best Daryl Palumbo and Burt McCracken impressions, and since it's just in this song, it totally works. This is another straightforward poppy type song like Younger, but it's even slower than that one. This is the album's slowest and softest song, and it is very good musically and lyrically. Here's where you can really hear those Glassjaw and the Used influences.
The glass is cut, the stakes will show. I see them all. They're all over. The glass is cut, the stakes will show. The stakes will show.
It's really good, man. It's really good. And then we get to the closer. Number 11, 27 Club. This is a live staple. And it's not hard to see why. I'm not going to dissect the lyrics here because I want you to read them on your own. They're very thought-provoking. Once the meat of the song is over, Jason just kind of speaks his thoughts to us for a while. This song is very long, but it's a very fitting closer to this great album. 27 Club and Virgin Dirt maybe a little bit longer than they need to be, but they still are great songs. So I gotta say, like, with how much this band had to say and just their live performance, the demand for them, how much their fan base just loved them, and just how much momentum was around this band during their time as a band, I'm really surprised that number one, their following album was as dull as it was, and I'm even more surprised that they called it quits. I did not see this being such a short-lived project. And in the case that anybody in this band happens to see this tiny little video on this tiny little platform, next year marks the 10-year anniversary of this album. Just throwing that out there. If you guys do a 10-year anniversary of this album, and it comes near my area, I'm kind of close to Pittsburgh, I'll be there, man. Play this album from front to back. I think it was 2013, 2014, something like that. There was, at least in the top 3 concerts I regret having not gone to. It was Letlive, No More, Glass Cloud, No More, Architects, when they were on the heels of Lost Together, Lost Forever, which is probably the only album of theirs that I'm really a big fan of. And then I the Mighty, who I'm not super familiar with, but I know their vocalist got some pipes. Those 4 bands, like, I regret not making that a priority, because now there is no more Glass Cloud and Letlive, and I would have loved to see them live. But Volume 1 I did Sky Eats Airplane, and then Volume 2 I did Feed Her to the Sharks. Those bands, I just don't see them continuing. I don't think they're going to get back together. They feel very dead in the water. With this band, I'm going to say never say never. I feel like we could have a comeback with these guys. I don't think they've said everything that they could possibly say, and I hope that's the case. I hope they come back, and I hope they do another album like this one. But for the sake of keeping this review that's already pretty long, under 20 minutes, I'm going to hop off here. Thanks so much for watching. Give this album a shot. You won't regret it. It's very diverse. It's not a one-trick pony. And thanks for watching.